So, Ghostface. The story of what would happen if Peter Parker had been a narcissistic serial killer. This guy moved from town to town and job to job, and for some reason, no one asked questions, which is really a shame since he got into the field of journalism without HR doing a single background check on the guy. Honestly, the investigative work that Danny did on himself was probably a godsend to this newspaper if they couldn't even be bothered to ask why a guy bounces around so much while reports of murder parties are coming in from the exact places the new guy has been living in. The quality of journalism is about the same as the journalists in Superman that see the guy with a literal dump truck of a chest and a chin sharp enough to slice through a rusty pipe like butter and are completely fooled by the addition of glasses. Anyway, good old Danny Johnson was going by the name of Jed Olson, and he radiated the kind of big dick energy paired with some America, fuck yes talk that landed him a job within the first 5 minutes of his interview. Now this happened in Florida because, of course, Ghostface is Florida man. Dude was there for 5 months before shit started going sideways. You know, more sideways than Florida already is, I guess. Which, if the newspaper did any investigating at all, they would have seen this coming. People started turning up dead and the police are really out of their element because this definitely isn't the kind of Florida-based violence they're used to. On one hand, there are enough stab wounds and bloodstains to indicate a crime of passion, like finding out your spouse was cheating on you or someone touched a white suburban dad's thermostat. But on the other hand, there was no evidence left behind of who did it. See, Danny was a bit of a narcissist, and he's the type of person who would totally make a fake social media profile of a former lover who sings his praises in bed just before suddenly passing away because of the gaping chasm left behind from his massive dingwallace created a vacuum in their nether regions that would inevitably cause them to implode. He wanted to make the big headlines, get his story out, and create a masterpiece. So Danny Boy would follow these poor bastards everywhere for weeks. Some people actually reported this to the police, but they were so busy rounding up gator wrestling teenagers or whatever it is that native Floridians do, so they ignored them. So Danny was pretty much undisturbed and got to keep relentlessly following and photographing these people until he finally broke into their houses and shanked them. Again, the newspaper that Danny worked for, who were not doing any research at all whatsoever, sent him to go interview friends and family of the deceased and then get the official statements from the police, which directly led to more people getting killed. Anyway, the plus side of having an inept group of reporters and investigators meant that Danny was getting a little antsy and decided to go full murder Spider-Man and set up cameras and videotapes of himself doing the deed. He wrote an article to go with it and was super excited when the entire city of Roseville collectively shit themselves. Unlike Spider-Man, the police in this case were like, wait a second, it's real sus that this guy got footage of a serial killer, and the killer even gave the camera a big thumbs up, and went ahead and put Danny on their suspect list. Obviously, since Danny was in charge of police statements, he figured out they were giving him the side eye and pieced out of there. Long story short, Danny kept right on doing what he was doing and collecting newspaper articles about all of his murder sprees. He never even left Florida so he could keep getting the local papers for Roseville, where he killed a bunch of people, where he's a wanted man, where they have his photos and his identity, and they still couldn't find his ass. Anyway, the entity showed up and was like, bro, come to the fog, we have AC, and gave him those little streamers that hang off the vents to use as a cape. So yeah, Ghostface. Plain and simple.